Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jaylee. This is JayLeesCorner. Happy Tuesday. Child tacos, tequilas, and testimonies. Okay, because that's what we gonna get into today. Look, y'all know first things first. If you have not done so already, take a second. Okay, subscribe to my channel. Become a whole JayBird and whatnot. Do not forget. Okay, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Okay. Share the video. That's the three things you get to do that's free around here. Okay, child, day 2 in the Diddy trial. Okay, it is day 2 around here. One, I hope y'all can hear me. I'm pretty sure y'all can. Okay, look, let me go on camera. Okay, look, first of all, I just changed sweatshirts because I had on a black one, and I'm like, when I have on a black top in my hair, it all look, it's a black chair, it's black hair, a black shirt. I'm like, no, girl, throw some color up in there. So I had to throw this little sweatshirt on that says choose happy. Because with all this foolishness going on, we have to choose happy. If not, we may go insane. Okay. Look, y'all know it's other content up on the channel, so go watch the other things that is up. We was live yesterday. Okay, about day 1 of the Diddy trial. Okay, because do not think he didn't do it. Okay, Diddy did it. Period. Okay, Diddy did it, and that's what matters. Okay, now I like my thumbnail too, y'all, because at first I was like, I'm like, what picture can I use of Cassie? Okay. Do I want her smiling? Do I want her looking sad? What do I want? I was like, no, use the court pictures, because that's all that we have, okay, as the backdrop. Because we have to see what Diddy, to me, this sketch of Diddy is Diddy. Okay. This sketch of Diddy is Diddy. And I said, this is the perfect thing. But I also said, put Cassie around there. How she look in regular life. Okay. Don't put her on that because again, Cassie right now is 8 months pregnant. So I'm like, I want to show y'all that lady is around there, big belly and all. Okay. She's on the stand 8 months pregnant. Okay. But I love her outfit, her coat. Okay, but Diddy did it, and that's what the T is. Now, yesterday I was live. I hate how I did my live yesterday because I did yesterday. I did not read through any of the tweets. I just said to myself, girl, you can just read the tweets. I did not realize how much extra information was in there that I would have to skim through. So I hated my live yesterday. I was like, oh my God, I hate myself right now. So today I made sure to read the tweets of Cassie's statement. And I said, no, we're going to fully read what Cassie said. Okay. Because this is Diddy. Okay. And seeing Diddy with this distorted image, to me, I think that fits a little bit more and stuff. Like, I'm like, no, don't use a nice picture of Diddy, of him looking degular. No, don't do that. No, use what he look like right now. Okay, a distorted image of that crazy. Because if you, child, I was like, I need a vacation. I said, somebody get Cassie some more money. Sure, I said, I don't want to do it no more. Okay. But let me say hi. I say hi to y'all. Girl, I say hi. Hey y'all, how y'all doing? How was everyone? Will you look? um, no. One, I put a video on TikTok, a 10-minute little thing, and I discussed it. It'll be uploaded to my channel. And because I uploaded it already and it's already flagged, so I don't want to discuss that just yet because I don't want this to get flagged, this video right here to get flagged. So once we're done with this live, I'm pretty sure by then what I said on TikTok, because I fully said my feelings or whatever. So I'll do that. So again, this is at 9 o'clock. So again, y'all gonna have a video that'll be posted around 11 or tomorrow. I don't know because I don't want this getting flagged and then I don't get my money. Okay. So did I touch on it? Technically, yes. If you follow me on TikTok, it's already there. A click in the view. Okay. If you do not follow me on TikTok, I will have my commentary up either late tonight after this live or tomorrow morning. One or the two. Okay. Y'all know, hit the like button. It is the thing to do. And stuff like that. Okay, let's get it. Okay, thank you for being here. Okay. Well, welcome back. Janella Marie has not gone live in a long time. Well, welcome to the party. Okay. I got my cocktail too. I got me some good old ice and water. So I also have my cocktail. Okay, look, and a cock and a tail will tell you the things. Okay, but hello to everybody around here. Okay, but yeah, I am not going to discuss the Halle DDG thing right now because I don't want to get flagged, and I think my video may get flagged because of the picture I used. I showed the bruise picture, so I may just have to redo my thumbnail and it'll be fixed. But we shall see, okay? But hey to the peoples and stuff. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Okay. Have a drink for me. Hi. YouTube be hating. I keep telling y'all, YouTube do not tell folks I be on live, okay? But again, if you hear live, if you hear on a replay, I appreciate it. Okay. Oh, thank you, thank you, MP, for the super chat. Okay, look. This is going to be hard to listen to, but guess what? Okay, I am going to make it as fun as I can while discussing, some things that may not be fun. You know what I'm saying? But I want to have a conversation around it. So one, I don't get flagged. But two, because and that's why I said Cassie's statements, her opinions or whatever, her testimony needs to fully be, discussed because that girl went through it. Child, Diddy did it. Period. Period. Okay. Diddy did it. And I feel like I've seen people say different things or whatever. I was like, I love that the sketches to me shows because he's a bit evil. Okay, Diddy is an itty bitty bit. He too freaky for me. And my thing is this: even if you like watching people do things, you can easily pay people who want to be watched. You don't have to force people to do stuff they don't want to do. Okay, so again, Cassie is a detailed testimony. Okay, exposing all of it. Now let's go ahead and get to because I want to get to it, child, and get through it. Let me share my screen, okay, and shout out on my real bitch. Anyway, shout out to Inner City Press. Okay, that is who is around here doing the rounds and putting the information in. He is in the actual courtroom, so that is why we are able to see his tweets and stuff. Because I was looking at a bit of it before I went to work, and I was like, Jesus Christ, okay. Because Cassie, again, she is 8 months. You see the big belly, okay. To even have to relive, to remember, to go over, to rehash what he did. To me, it's almost like Diddy is again kind of humiliating her because what she went through is now what she's having to admit in front of all these people. And look, we have all everyone in life has done something they either don't want to repeat ever again, they are either embarrassed about, they just wish they did not do it or whatever. And no one wants to have that conversation in front of 100 people, let alone 100 people plus is being broadcast to everyone around the world. Okay, so I feel like, to me, Diddy is in some way, shape, or form humiliating her again. And to me, that is what his antics were when he was, doing these freak offs. So Cassie, hold on, my battery low. But let's get to what we're gonna get to. Okay, so all rise. Okay, Cassie Cassandra Ventura around here. She's very pregnant. Okay, how old are you? I'm 38. What is your work? I'm a musician, entertainer. How long will you shine? 10 years. And she got with him when she was, even when she met him, she was a teenager. I think even once they became a couple, she was maybe 21, 22. Child, look, there are things I willingly did at that age that I'm like, I would not want to do now. There are things that I unwillingly had to do. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like we can't look at what she went through as if she is this grown adult woman who has lived life and knows the ups and downs. None of that. Child at 21, 22, we still was stupid. So I just want to, because she's 38 now, but again, she was with him for 10 years in her early 20s. Did you get an argument? She said, yes, it will result in violence, dragging. What else did he do? Stomp me in the head if I was down. Now, again, you know how insane of a person you have to be to want to stomp somebody. And we know Cassie don't weigh but a $105. Okay, Cassie has always been a very, very petite young lady and stuff. So the simple fact that he would want to, again, abuse her is crazy in itself. Okay, how frequently was he violent? Too frequently. I would get black eyes and bruises. And when we first heard before that he would, beat her up, she would have bruises, and then he would kind of have her stay at a hotel until the bruises healed. That's how demonically insane he was. I'm going to beat you up, but I'm also going to force you to be in the prison of a hotel. You can't go nowhere because no one can see you beaten up and bruised. Okay. Um, Let me show you a video. Show the video of LA hotel elevator lobby shown. Where is this? The Intercontinental in LA. It was after free golf. What does that entail? The hiring of an escort, setting it up. How did you feel when he first asked for it? Again, how we first said, "Hey, I want to do a freak off or whatever." Confused, nervous. I wanted to make him happy. Did you agree to one when he first proposed one? She said yes. Then there were more. It wasn't something I wanted to do, at least not that frequently. Again, everyone has a freak flag flying, as they see fit. I was like, I don't kink shame. Everyone has their kinks. Okay, and the thing about this is, we all adults here, right? We all adults here. I'm gonna say this, even about me, I don't know how y'all feel. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old Jaylee and 43-year-old Jaylee. I don't even think at that young of an age, we don't even really know how freaky we want to be. You know what I'm saying? When you're that young, you're just starting out doing stuff. Okay, you don't know this. Or I told her for a long time back in the day when I was growing up, oral sex wasn't even like a thing like that. Everybody around here wasn't oral sexing people back in the 1900s. That really wasn't, because my point is, we didn't even really have a freak flag back then. Now, okay, at a grown age, I don't, but again, think about, she's that young and he's older. So his freaky level is more experienced than her. Because not only is he older, he's in the music industry or whatever, and we freak of the week. Okay. So her saying, again, they got more frequent. I didn't want to do it that often because she didn't know nothing about that. Yeah. It was for Becky's. Wasn't nobody out here giving no head. I remember saying, kill me dead. Okay, before I do that. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of stuff back then wasn't nobody doing anyway. Okay. Anyway. Again, she said yes. She agreed when he first proposed one, but then there were more. It wasn't something I wanted to do, at least not that frequently. She said, I didn't know what no could turn into. He said, what does that mean? Making him angry. What were you afraid would happen if you said no? Through time, he had blackmail materials. Which means if I say no, could he get violent with me? He has these videos or pictures. He has things of me, in these compromising situations that I don't want out. And if he's mad at me, how do I know what he's gonna do? Okay, so again, through time he had blackmail materials. What did you give the government? Laptops. So we had heard before that she gave up some evidence, meaning stuff she has stored on, laptops, desktops, computers, phones, all that. But she gave the police people some laptops or whatever. He gave her a drive or whatever. Do you recognize it? She said, yes, I reviewed the drive. It has communication and documents pertaining to Mr. Combs. Did you review photos on it? She said, yes. What's this photo? It was her in 2024 with a friend named Carrie Morgan. When did you sign with Bad Boy? In 2006. It was a 10-album deal. Now, if I recall, I don't remember. I only remember one Cassie song. That's the Me and You song. The fact that he signed her to a 10-album deal back in 2006, and from 2006 to today, the 2025, she only did one album. Okay, putting someone on a 10-album deal, only one album ever comes out, is insane. I might to even put anyone in a 10-album deal is slavery. 10 albums? I'm 19, 20, 10. Anyway. Did you release any after late 2006? She said no. So she signed to them in 2006 to a 10-album deal, did one album in 2006, and then nothing else ever. Did nothing else again. Showed her a photo. Who's in the photo? She said Kim Porter. She was Sean's ex from before me and the mother of his kids. Show a picture of them in Vegas for her birthday, her 21st birthday, at the VMAs. What happened then? Sean kissed me in the bathroom. I ran back to my hotel and I told Carrie, who was a friend. When you got back to New York, she said, I visited him in the Trump Hotel in Columbus Circle. His apartment was being renovated. What were you going with your music career? Trying to come up with a concept. Sean called all the shots. What is the age difference between you and Sean? 17 years. You know how much experience he had over her because he's 17 years older than her. So again, he's 17 years older than me. He signed me to a 10-album deal. Okay, I did one album. We doing freaky shit. Okay, he's introducing me to all the freaky things or whatever, and whatever. Okay. He asked, how did you feel when Sean invited you to the hotels? Nervous, excitement. We're going to talk about music. He introduced me to oral sex. I didn't understand it. First of all, child, look, it's hard to even understand stuff if you don't know stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it could even be not only did she not get oral sex, it could be too how he liked it. Because all people like it differently, okay? But her saying he introduced me to it, I did not understand it. That's how young she was. Because again, wasn't nobody really sucking, you wasn't really sucking dick or get. Okay. Well, was I good? I mean, look. Okay. I'm just saying. Anyway. Did you visit him in Miami? She said, yes, I went with Carrie Morgan in Dallas Austin. I said, not Dallas Austin. That's Chili Baby. That's the producer. What did you and Sean do together? Sexual intercourse. He gave me Blue Dolphin ecstasy on a boat. I said, the Blue Dolphin. Look. I don't know no other. All I know is weed. Okay, I don't know nothing about nothing else. I don't want no man. Okay, had you once before taken ecstasy unintentionally, meaning I didn't mean to take it, but I took it? She said yes. How did you take ecstasy unintentionally? It was in the Gatorade. So this is showing that he was spiked drinks. You round there, either baby oil in it, drinking some Gatorade, drinking some water, and you have no idea what you're drinking is some stuff in it. Okay. When you took it intentionally with Sean, how did it feel? Like rolling. At the time, what did you think? That we were spending a lot of time together. I thought we were monogamous. Was it made public? She said no. I was his artist, also his family, children, or whatever. Who was he linked to publicly? She said Kim Porter. Now, remember, y'all, we first started seeing him with Cassie. We kept on saying, wait a minute, ain't he with Kim Porter? I remember the blogs going crazy because no one understood what was what. Because even before, we had seen Diddy with Misa Hilton back in the day. We had seen Diddy with J-Lo. We had seen Diddy with Kim Porter. We really had not seen him with anybody else. I think once we saw him with Cassie, it was like, wait a minute, ain't he with Kim? So the fact that she was like, well, no, at first we was messing around or whatever, but it's not publicly. He was linked to Kim. They asked, how did Sean treat you at the time? We had fun. They asked, what was the lifestyle like? She said he had all these assistants. He could get things done. He traveled quite a bit. Okay. Other than show her a photo of her and Sean at the strip club in 2007, 2008. Let's ask, how did Sean's mood vary? She said day to day, meaning his mood swings would swing. We had mood swings. When it swung, could you describe it? Anger, zoning out. How did it impact you? Greatly. The next thing I knew, I was getting hit in the face. There was also psychological abuse. He tell me to wipe my mouth and change my face. I feel like because we've seen Diddy on different things, we've seen him on different other shows. I think seeing him mainly on Making a Band, I can see him saying that because we've seen him on different things and how he be looking at people and he'll say, oh, change. You know what I'm saying? Like it sounds like him. Okay. Um, how would he keep tabs on you? We didn't live far apart. He sent security to come find me or a trusted assistant, which means she don't even have no safety of her own because wherever I am, he would have sent someone to come get me. They said, like who? David, James, and Christina Quorum. Was your relationship exclusive? She said no. Did you see the man? She said yes. Did Sean see the woman? Yes. He said, I'm Puff Daddy. I was insanely jealous. I feel like they were trying to make it seem as if, well, she's jealous because he's dating other people. I think them asking her, did you also see the men, is proof that she was also doing her own thing. Okay. And I feel like, I was living life too. Did you move to LA with him? She said yes, he wanted to be close to his kids who were there in LA. Where you live? She gave an address of building, 17 floors. He lived down the street, a golf cart ride away. He used a golf cart to go back and forth between my place and his place. Who paid your rent in LA? She said he did, except when I had a house in Studio City, I could afford it and I wanted to have some control. And Sean accepted that I would pay for that one place and whatnot. How many songs did you write with Sean? Hundreds. Most were never released. Some got leaked on the internet. Some on mixtapes. Again, she had a 10-album deal. Only one album came out since 2006. Between 2006 and 2025. Okay, it's what, 19 years? So, how many albums of your deal were not released? She said 9. Did you get paid for them? She said no. She said the freak offs became a job. There was no time to do anything else but to do them and then try to recover. Look, I know how tiring it can be for a good sex session with your own man. Okay, 1 day, 2 days, or whatever, having to have multiple rounds of sex with random people is childhood. I don't want that. Okay, but them establishing she had a 10-album deal, 9 of them did not come out. She did not get paid for them. And her saying the freak off became a job because I had no time for anything else besides that, to be fucking and recover. How much time in your week will freak off take? She said the longest was 4 days, but significant periods of time. 4 days of fucking? Child, I just want 1 day. Okay, look, 1 day a week is fine by me. I don't need no daily. I don't want to have sex 4 times a week. I got time. I'm tired. Okay. If it's good, look, if it's good on Monday, I can wait till Thursday. I don't need Monday, Tuesday. No. So for her to say, it was long periods of time, the longest was 4 days. 4 days of sex is insane. They came back from a little break. Her manager was James Cruz. He was managing me with one hand tied behind his back. He had to check everything with Sean Diddy. How did you make money if your records weren't being released? She said, I did hosting parties when Sean approved them. What comments did Sean make about your physical appearance? That I look too Mexican with my hair like that. And if you recall, when she first came out, I do feel like she did look exotic. She didn't look like a black woman to me. She looked like she was mixed with other things. So I can fully believe he said you look Mexican. You know what I'm saying? How do you like your nails? White, French tip. Her hair should be varied. I shaved my head in 2009. Your body, he told me to work out. He told me to work out to prepare for the freak offs. Because you have to have stamina to fuck for 4 days. Okay? So even her is trying to say how he's controlling how I look, what I eat, how I dress, how my body is, because he wants me in tip top shape, child, for these long freak offs. Okay, again, one was 4 days. Um, how did you feel about his comment? She said the very wealthy trying to pay for cars. Did he give you cash? She said yes, but he would take things away depending on how I felt. What else would he take away? She said my self confidence. Um, who would take things away? He said staff, or I assume staff. Defense objection. Shut up, defense. But they said disregard the answer. Who took your laptop and phone? Security, and they would take it for however long I was punished for. How often were you in contact with Sean's staff? Daily. Okay. They showed some pictures of people or whatever, including Sean Security D Rock. Said how frequently were you at his house? She said all the time. Did he have safes? She said yes. What did you observe in them? Cash, jewelry, cameras, videotapes, guns in New York, LA, and Miami and Alpine, New Jersey. I think them showing her, letting her say he had guns, child, he had drugs, you know what I'm saying? Meaning he ain't no regular dude. Okay. Do you recall an incident between Suge and Diddy? Yes. We were having a freak off in LA. D Rock came in, and D Rock is security. D Rock came in and said Suge was down in the diner, and then Sean drove over there. What was your reaction? She said, I was scared, I would cry. I said, don't do something stupid. You know, this is back when Bad Boy and Death Row and when Suge was out. She would be kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? So her, like, they came and said, Suge around there, and oh, he left. That was gonna happen. Okay. Were you ever handed a gun? She said yes. We were doing a club. We were at a club in downtown LA. We taking mushrooms. Mushroom, child. I was high. I was told to put the gun in my back. I was freaking out. Now y'all remember when that shooting happened all them years ago, when with Shine, J-Lo, and Diddy, people said then they felt like Sean gave a gun to J-Lo. Okay, so her saying, yeah, at a point in time he would not, and we know. Look, truth be told, back in the day in the hood, child, and Gangsta 11, your dude would give you his gun to hold because most cops and people don't check the girlfriend. At least back then it didn't. I have been given plenty of guns to hold back in my day. Anyway, uh, who was present? A driver, security, and Sean. Where's that? Hold on. More supplies. Hold on. Another time I saw them get dressed and grab guns and leave in the SUV. They're gone about 40 minutes. He then asked how soon in their relationship with Sean did him, voyeurism happen. First 6 months or a year. Meaning we weren't even together. My head is itching. I need to read my stuff. Meaning we weren't even together for a year before he had me, into his voyeurism, meaning watching me have sex with people. That's look, you can't know my full freak that soon. Okay. How old were you? I was 22. Again, we're not talking about a grown 40-year-old woman. We ain't talking about a 22-year-old girl who, to me seemed like I was caught up in the shit. Okay. Why did you agree to try your freak off? She said, good question. I wanted to make him happy. Where was the first freak off? She said it was in LA, at his house in LA. They showed a picture with the first escort. You know his name? She said no. So I'm gonna call him first escort. Were you aware he was paid? She said yes, to dance and to have intercourse with me. What drug did you take? She said ecstasy and alcohol before things started. Did you disguise your appearance? She said yes. Sean said we disguise ourselves. I wore a masquerade mask, meaning he knew. Well, let's not show them who we are. Okay, you wear a mask, I wear a mask. We all gonna be a mask. Okay. What was a session in a freak off? She said until the escort finished. So this is the thing. If a session, meaning each freak off session ended once the paid hooker came, what about Cassie? If I'm around here fucking for 4 days straight, shouldn't it be over once I come? The fact that they're making it clear that Diddy likes the men finishing. Most men, okay, most men who even like watching porn, watching whatever, want to see their woman finish, want to see the woman explode. Okay, I do think there's something to be said that Diddy's sessions ended once the men came. Okay, again, she said a session will be until the escort finished. Now I'm a grown woman, you hear me? And if I'm watching whatever, okay, it's done when my dude finishes. Okay, I don't care about no first. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, Diddy, what's going on here, sir? If you Diddy, look, if you want some dick, fine. If you want to be gay, bi, whatever it may be. But I'm like, why was the session ended once the man came? Okay. How many sessions with the first escort? She said at least two. Meaning the first escort we had sex with, it was the man came twice. Because two sessions means two conversations. Okay. So how would you feel? Because I also said this: the point of being freaky dicky is for pleasure. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be enjoying this. Did she even enjoy it? I don't think she did. How did you feel? I was high, so I didn't feel very much. Dirty and confusion, and that he was happy with me. Why did you feel you couldn't say no? I didn't want to make him angry or upset after he shared this part of himself with me. Meaning he already had that feeling like, girl, I am sharing this also private part of my life with you. You can just see how I like watching dick, and you get to see. So it makes her feel close to him that she's seeing this private thing that he likes. Okay, that's a part of the manipulation. You make your person feel like you're special because they get to see this part of your life. It's like, no, he was nasty. Okay. How frequent did the freak offs become? Weekly for a consistent amount of years. Weekly freak offs for some years. When was your last one? She said 2017 or 2018. How long were you awake during the freak offs? I never slept. I took drugs, ecstasy, and Molly and cocaine. When you have to, when you have to take drugs just to be able to endure stuff, it's not fun. You know what I'm saying? I feel like in life, I've never done anything over weed. Anything besides a little joint, I've never done ecstasy. What is it? Ecstasy. You got cocaine. I've never been a pill person. That's not my pill powder. No, no ma'am. Okay. Now I've had some drinks shot. What you're saying? I feel like if you're drunk, and that's one thing, but when you have to do ecstasy and Molly and cocaine to endure these things, it ain't fun. You're not even mentally there because you're so high that you know what I'm saying. So they ask, do you recall all of freak offs? That will be impossible. Did you want to stop? She said, yes, I was humiliated. I didn't have the words then. I couldn't talk to anyone about it. And she's crying because she's a child. I said before, this is also a part of him still humiliating her because she's still having to have this conversation and tell people about this embarrassing sexual escapades, okay, that she ain't want to do, you know. But her saying, I didn't have the words then. You know, I think like I think when we are younger, we just go along. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot. That's why I think a lot of times back in the day, there are many women or even men who may have said no, stop, I don't want to, and the person kept going, and we never realized that's rape. You know what I'm saying? I think there's so many situations that people have went through back in the day. You didn't have the words to explain or express yourself the right way. So her saying, you know what I'm saying, I was humiliated, I did want to stop. I didn't have the words then. I couldn't talk to nobody. Because a lot of folks say, well, why didn't so and so tell someone? You don't know how to. One, because you're embarrassed. Either you're embarrassed that you're going through it, or you're embarrassed that they probably told you don't do it, don't date him, and you ain't listen. Now they right. So, and 'cause I said earlier today, I was like, it's like being in a, what did I say? Because I was talking about it earlier. Because some folks feel like, well, do they not have anyone to talk to? And I'm like, it's like being, where is it at? I'm gonna say where it was. I said it's like being on an island full of people, but you're too embarrassed to tell anyone what's going on. So you just smile because you don't know what else to do. Then you leave, but he always finds you, and you think things will get better, but they get worse. So you stop leaving until you either get killed or escape for good. So again, a lot of people don't understand that it's not even about not having someone to talk to. Sometimes it's about you don't even feel you don't feel like anyone can even know what you don't have the words. You know what I'm saying? So her now being able to say as a 38, she's 38 years old. At 38, she can now say, I did want to stop. I didn't know what to do then. Okay. Did you tell him you didn't want to? She said, yes. I brought it up gently. I didn't want him to do it with someone else. Meaning, I don't want to do it. I don't want him mad at me. But I also don't want him going and doing it with other people. Which means I don't want someone to replace me. You know what I'm saying? I don't want so I don't want to do it. I don't. But I don't want him pissed at me. I also don't want him doing it with somebody else. That kind of showed you the control he even had, because she was also concerned with, what if he doesn't want me anymore because I won't do this with him anymore. I don't want to do it anymore. What am I going to do? Were you able to express your concern to him? They said objection, leading, try rephrase. They then said, why did you talk to him gently? I didn't want him to be angry. Okay. They then showed an email between her and Diddy. They asked her, what did you call him? She said, Pop Pop. I said, child, not Pop Pop. I was like, oh my God. Not Pop Pop. Okay. They said, why? He asked me what I called my grandfather. I did it, but now I think it was disrespectful. To ask somebody you're dating, to ask a young woman you're dating, what did you call your grandfather? I call him Pop Pop. So you want me to call you the name I called my grandfather? They said, what did you write? She said, I really need to fuck. Why did you write that? Because I wanted to be with him. They then said, I'm gonna read, stuff between y'all. They say, so Sean said, you don't want to do anymore? And she said back, I'm so predictable. They asked, what do you think this meant? She said that he knew I didn't want to do the freak offs anymore, but then I backpedaled. Why? To not make him angry, he could be violent. They said, she had clothes from. Did she have piercings? She said, yes, Sean came with me. Which of the homes do you have freak offs in? Child, all of them. Okay, Miami, New York, in her house, but not the Studio City house, in Atlanta, in Ibiza, okay, and hotel, in the Trump Hotel, Ramsey Hotel, all these hotels and stuff, okay, all over the place. What names were used? Jackie Star. I used Frank Black. Supply. What did y'all use? What was the supply shop? Astroglide, baby oil, condoms. Who bought the supplies? His assistant security. What brand? Baby oil. Johnson and Johnson's. How was it used? She said, Sean said, you need to be glistening. For what? Glistening for what? I guess so. Anyway, they then said, were there freak offs where you ran out of baby oil? Objection. So whatever. They then said, you also mentioned Astroglide. Objection. Child, shut up. That little sidebar came back. We were just talking about Astroglide. I'm like, child, I've never used Astroglide. First of all, I'm not a lubrication user, just in general, whatever. But I know of them. I don't really know of the KY and stuff. But I'm like, what's this? Is Astroglide? I just feel like is that for gay sex? What? He might be asleep. Well, not sleep, but I be including him in my shenanigans. What is Astroglide used for? I just wonder. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like I've never used it. You know what I'm saying? Wait. Oh, it's for women, is it? Okay. That's Lou. See, I never knew. So what is let me stop. Okay, let me focus. Anyway, y'all, they Astroglide, okay? They said, how will they use? She said, lubricants. If you ran out, what? If we ran out, we call either staff or the bail people or whatever. Say, hey, give them a little tip. Get us some lube, okay? They also brought up. See, I didn't even know that. Child. Anyway, so I gotta focus. I'm up here having text conversations. Anyway, were the freak offs lit? She said initially it was candles, a strong smelling like Glade. Any other use of candle wax? She said a few times it was poured on my body. Who set the temperature for the room? Sean. I would expect it to do freak offs on my period. I said, girl, now what? I will be. Look, no tea, no shade. I don't need it. Not now. I mean, maybe when I'm older. I know this as you get older and go through menopause, things dry up or whatever. But I don't need it. So that ain't an issue for me. But I may need it in the future. I don't know. But I mean, do we? Look, I don't look, child. I don't. I don't. I don't want. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you may. Maybe. Look, I think lube is for me in life. Lube is really only used if you're like hand jobbing people. You know what I'm saying? So like if you're hand jobbing somebody, then you need some lube. Look, okay, a little Astroglide, a little KY, okay, coconut oil, okay, or whatever. I'm not sure. But I don't right now in life. I don't need it. But when I do, please believe I will use it. Okay, simple as that. But again, her saying he expected her to do freak offs on her period, on her menstrual. First of all, that look, um, look. I know people who run red lights. Okay, we not gonna act like folk don't run red lights. Okay, and I feel like I'm not saying if you are a person who run red light that you're nasty. I'm not saying that, but I am saying you don't run red light with hookers and escorts and male prostitutes. Okay, if your girl is on her cycle, you should not want her to run red lights with other men. You know what I'm saying? That's supposed to be time of rest and relaxation. Okay, so I'm like, that unfortunate. That's not good. Okay. Um, they asked, "Did you want to do that?" She said no. They asked her, "Did you want to be urinated on?" They said, "Objection." Judge said grounds. Defense said ask and answer. The judge said overruled. Okay, overruled means sit down and shut up. Okay, ask the question. She then said in response to the "Did you want to be urinated on?" No, I did not want it. They asked her, how did it feel? It was disgusting. Okay, it was too much. I choked. No one could think I wanted that. Why were you choking? Too much in my mouth. I was like, oh Lord Jesus. Look. Now yesterday they talked about that because the hooker who said, that had happened, what I'm saying? Right, look, little golden shower. Look, not my child. Now we know Carisha was getting pissed on. When Carisha brought up the piss on thing on her little podcast, I don't really do that. I don't chop. If Diddy was pissing on Cassie, he was pissing on you too. Okay, so we now know Diddy like to see men come. Diddy like for girls to have sex on a period. Diddy like to pee on people. Diddy's freaky deaky. Okay, too freaky for me. Okay, but again, she said it was too much urine in my mouth. Who else peed on you? She said, Sean. Did you want Sean to pee on you? She said, I didn't want anyone to pee on me. Okay. How often did it happen? Bitch, often enough. Which means on the regular. Okay. And this is my thing. I'm a firm believer in just because you like it, I don't have to like it. If you can pay men to have sex with me, why can't you pay to piss on somebody? Why you want your woman to be the pissy person? Now, I don't. Mm-mm. No, I don't like it. Okay, and her saying it happened often enough, meaning on a regular basis. Okay, they said which hotel charged the most for damages to the room? The Intercontinental in New York. They redecorated the whole room for ridiculous amounts of money. Okay, child. They said back to the pen. I said not back to the pen. Not back to the pen. She said they asked why didn't you say no? It was obvious I didn't want to be on the ground being peed on by two men. I said, first of all, on the ground. Now I guess where else? Look, was it plastic down on the ground? I mean, why? I mean, can you at least put something in the shower? Because I can rinse it off and the piss go down the drain. You know, for her saying, obviously, I did not want to be on the ground getting pissed on by two men. Meaning Diddy around here playing sword fight, dick fight with some dude pissing on Cassie. Again, that's why I said this is still a humiliation thing because she's having to publicly say what happened to her. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I said we not shaming Cassie. We shaming Diddy. Okay? We not shaming Cassie around here by being pissed on. We shaming the pisser, not the pissy. Okay? Diddy was letting his freak flag fly. Okay? Standing tip to tip with some dude. For what? If I have to pee, I go to the bathroom. I don't go on people. That's just nasty, okay? They said, where did you find escort? He said, girl, Craigslist. I said, Craigslist? Is Craigslist, is it still around? I thought it was canceled. In what city did you respond to ads on Craigslist? She said, in New York. Also, did you get respond to ads on Backpage as well? She said, child, I remember the freaky shit on Craigslist Backpage because a lot of people were like getting hurt from meeting up with I've never even been on Craigslist. I've never been on it. I remember the stories on the news about bad things happening to people who use those lists. Okay. They said, who directed you to communicate with escorts? Objection. Okay, who if anyone? Objection, meaning you can't assume, like you can't. Nigga, we know what Diddy. They then said, did you ever reach out to an escort independently? Meaning, no, I did not. Someone else asked me to. It was Diddy. Okay. Did you ever not use an escort who arrived? She said one couldn't perform, so Shine sent them on. What was a safe escort? She said not a cop and someone who not run and tells everyone about the freaky shit we did. Okay, we don't want anyone saying that we pissed on them. We don't want anyone saying it's period sex. We don't want any of that stuff. Okay, ain't no condoms around here. Ain't no it's fluids and it's stuff. Thank God she didn't get no STD or get pregnant. Right. I can't be in the pool. And you peeing on people? And again, we not shaming Cassie. We shaming Diddy. Because he like it. She just had to endure it. You hear me? Again, they say, why not a cop? I learned this whole situation was not legal. Objection. The judge, okay, disregard. I feel like their point was, you're saying, I'll scoot this over. You're saying y'all had to get someone who did not or would not snitch, which child, two of them in court. Because they had two hookers who told. Okay, but their point was while doing things, we would have to have folk who would not tell on us. And her saying, because I didn't know it was illegal. Because if a cop was involved in being paid for sex cross state lines, that's the definition of uh, uh, sex trafficking. Okay, and so I didn't even know this was illegal. A lot of people don't know if you own a strip club, right? You own a strip club, and maybe your strippers, okay, sell a little cooch, okay. If you take the strippers from your strip club from Michigan to Ohio to Atlanta to Texas to New York to Cali, and if you're crossing state lines because you're going to sell their cooch, that's the definition of the trafficking of sex. Okay, so we can't get with anyone who will know, hey, we going from California to New York. We're paying for the sex. It's the trafficking. Okay, so her point was, I did not know it was this was illegal what we were doing. Okay, objection. Okay, disregard. They then asked, how did the cash get there? Security or he brought himself. Um, The escort day, you know his real name. She said Clayton Howard. Okay. Who is this in the photo? We don't know what it is. Okay, witness Daniel. Okay. They use a dancing service. Do you recognize Jules? Yes, I know Jules too. And what cities did you have freak off with Jules? New York, LA, Vegas. You know his last name? No. Okay. Who was this? I knew him as the Punisher. The Punisher? Did he do porn? I feel like the Punisher is the name of a porn star. Okay, but I don't know. Did you use drugs at every freak off? She said yes. I needed to disassociate myself and become emotionless. And this is the thing: sex not even fun. Look, I am a firm believer. Having being with somebody who's emotionless, and you can just tell they're just going through. No, you need to be involved. Okay, I need participation around here. Okay, you can't be no dead fish. Oh, no, I need you to participate. Okay, to her, like this was emotional. I could not perform. So I'm just high. Who else used drugs and freak off? She said Sean did, and sometimes the escorts. What other drug that you use? She said Special K, GHB, and mushroom. I'm like high as a kite. You hear me? Um, they then had an email between her and Diddy where they're basically saying like they're using drugs. Okay, him saying, I took my drugs. I'm already flying, meaning he's already high. So they're showing they both were using drugs, to do this and that. Okay. And then asked her, why did you take more drugs? She said to not be present with the experience. They said, why? Because it's something I hated. How did you react to ecstasy and MDMA? It can make me vomit. What would he say to keep going? Child, again, he's already having her have sex through her period. He's already having her, getting pissed on. Now her saying, I'm taking these drugs to be able to do it. And even if they make me sick and I throw up, he wants me to keep doing it. They said, did you want to continue to have intercourse when you wanted to throw up? She said, no. How does GHB make you feel? Drunk, tipsy. Cocaine, it makes my heart race. I'm not a huge fan. Mushroom, the walls come. I tried the walls come alive. I don't look. I told y'all back in the day when I used to smoke weed, it made me feel like I could feel the blood rushing through my veins. That's why I don't like getting high. I don't. So I've always said to myself, if weed makes me feel the blood rushing through my veins, I don't need nothing more than weed. Cause I don't even like that. Okay. Wait, little break. Hold on. It came back. When drugs ran out, how did you know who to reach out to? Sean would tell me. During the session, how would you know to move to the next step? Sean. What would happen after the escort? Child, okay, y'all ready? Y'all ready? You ready for this? I said, bitch, what? They asked her what would happen after the escort finished on you. Not in you, finished on you. She said Sean would want it put on his body in the next room. I said, bitch, what? I said, what, bitch? Okay. Huh? What would happen after the escort finished on you? Her, again, Sean would want it put on his body in the next room. Now, I don't know if Diddy kids stayed the whole time. I know Cassie's husband was there as well. Alex was in the thing because Alex is her support system. I'm really hoping This is stuff that he knows. I'm pretty sure it is. Okay. But if Diddy's mama, sons, daughters was in the courtroom, to hear that your daddy and your son likes, and this is my thing. I'm not, because look, I know gay men do it. I know gay men be around here, child, whatever. Okay, whatever in. So we're not. But I feel like for you to say, yeah, when after the escort finished on me, okay, he like will come over in the other room, try and put it on me, okay. And they said, "Did you do that?" I did, and did. They said, "Where?" She said, "Usually on his nipples." I said, "Not the nipples." Did you want to do that? She said, "No." How did you feel? I was an object being heavily objectified by men. Sometimes he would watch by FaceTime. He want to see it all. Diddy, child, look. Diddy, if you want, child, look. I'm not, look. You like what you like. You like what you like. I think Diddy could not bring him. This is my opinion. Diddy could not bring himself to watch two men have sex in real life. You know what I'm saying? He wanted live porn. You know what I'm saying? And the maybe, in my opinion, the only way he could see men have sex was to watch a man fuck a girl. Because, truth be told, most straight men don't watch straight porn. Most straight men watch lesbian porn. Because most, men, straight men, don't want to see a dick. Because I've always said to myself, if a man is watching a dude get head, that's like watching a dick. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, that's why most of the men I know, you know what I'm saying, watch women. Because that's what turns them on. I like dick. Okay. So again, Diddy wanting Cassie to be with other men, the freak offs ending once the men came. Um, when the men came on her, he wants her to put their stuff, their juice, on his nipples. It feel like he wanted to be as close to this male experience as he could. And the best way to do that was have a woman in there, so maybe he does not feel as gay, bisexual, trisexual, fluid. I don't know what. I don't know. Okay. But most, because think about this, we never really hear what man is having these freak offs. And we have not really heard about Cassie and him being with women. Like, why is he not wanting to see Cassie with a woman? You know what I'm saying? Because if Cassie willing to get fucked by dudes, I'm assuming she will also want to get fucked by chicks. You know what I'm saying? So, like, where is the conversation of, yeah, he will also pay women to do this, that, and the other? You know what I'm saying? So a part of him enjoys watching men bang women for whatever the reason may be. I wasn't there. I wasn't there. Again, I felt objectified. I was heavily objectified by men. Sometimes he would FaceTime. They said, were some sessions recorded on your devices? She said, because they were there. If you saw them on your device, what would you do? I would delete them. They said, why? They were disgusted. I never wanted anyone to see them. Again, which is why if you feel like, he has this embarrassing evidence of me again getting pissed on, getting I'm saying, all like just being an object. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, look, and there's no pretty way to none of that. You know what I'm saying? So her, like, I never wanted anyone to see them. Because if you just having sex, that's not a big issue. Even if you just giving some head, that ain't a big issue. However, I think what she felt like she was being forced to do wasn't enjoyable. You know what I'm saying? So again, she would delete them because she did not want anyone to see them. Where Sean invited you some time, she said, yes, I asked him to delete them. Did he delete them? She said, I don't know. I don't know. Did you ever leave a freak off before it was over? He said, yes. At the City Intercontinental, I finally had a premiere coming up and I didn't want to mess it up. But Sean hit me. At what point did Sean hit you? Between sessions. Meaning between, the freak off sessions. What happened next? Now, I was a bit confused here because I think they were asking what happened after he hit you. And she said, I got to the elevator. Next thing I know, I was thrown to the ground. Who threw you down? She said, Sean. He grabbed me by my neck and my hoodie. They then showed the video of what we all have seen. What were you doing? Trying to use the hotel phone. And what is Sean doing? Taking my phone in my bag. And they then broke the day. So this is where her testimony stage ended. And she would end up getting more testimony tomorrow and stuff. Come on now, yes. Look, child, look. I told y'all, okay? I try my best to give y'all what I can give y'all, okay? And I appreciate y'all for coming around here to me. But Diddy is a disgusting individual. Like, period. Like, point blank, period. Okay? And I know, wait, let me remove, hold on. Hold on. Let me share some IG stuff real fast. Because even though tomorrow, now I'll go live tomorrow as well, because Cassie will end up having, Cassie would end up going tomorrow to do the rest of her testimony. Because we haven't even gotten into the part of the conversation where they discuss the video. They have not gotten to the point of what happened after the video. There's a whole and child. This is only the prosecution who's talking. The defense has to still cross-examine Cassie. So tomorrow, again, she was talking today for like from around 10:30 in the morning, and I think she was done at around 4. So she was on the stand for hours talking. But wait, let me go to my sage. Because people was in the court today, child. People was in the courts. Okay. Now again, Cassie's husband, Alex, was around there. And I appreciate the fact that they are doing their best to keep Cassie like hidden. Like, you're not seeing her coming and going. You're only getting they get a little glimpse of her leaving her the place. Cause I don't think they live in New York. So the place they're renting here, we've seen her there a little bit. But there go Alex walking, trying to mind his business. Okay. I'm like, get on my face. Get on my face. Okay. Leave me alone. Get away from me. Okay. Stop yelling at me. And I feel like he would have known, what happened. Or I'm just assuming he wasn't like surprised at what he heard. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure she told him already. But they have the drawings of her testifying and stuff today. Diddy around there, gray head and all. Okay. And I thought I saw, is it this one? Because before Kathy did speak, the prosecution, no, the defense was saying, well, we're going to need her husband, Alex, to leave the courtroom because we're going to end up calling him as a witness. We may call him as a witness later on. And I like how they said, well, no, he is her safe space. So he would have to leave once it get to a certain parts. I think they said once they get to stuff that happened in 2018, which is when him and her started messing around or whatever, I think then he'll have to leave and whatnot. But I'm happy just to, nah, bitch, hold on, let him be there. But I thought, did I see the other people coming to the courtroom? They was there. I feel like we see people leaving, but I had saved it to today because again the whole, because again Diddy mama, they go Quincy, blonde hair Quincy, okay, coming and going. Oh, so child, they go to twins, and the Chance. I could not imagine they go. Is that Justin? Is his name Justin? Yeah, that's Justin. Okay, they go Justin. Is Christian there too? Okay, the mama and Christian. So again, the fact now also Misa was also there, and I believe so was the other baby mama. Okay, I could have swore I had saved them coming in today. Is it this one? No, I don't know where it's at. I thought I had saved stuff, but maybe I'm tripping. But again, all of the peoples was round there. I guess I didn't have it. Oh, I thought I did. But I cannot imagine, being at the courthouse and watching, my daddy on trial and then having to find out, oh, your daddy also likes, sperm on his nipples. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would leave. Like, I would say, look, y'all know I support him, but I don't want to hear this shit. I don't want to hear any of it. I do not want to know none of the freaky dicky shit my parents did, before me or during. I don't care. Look, as far as I'm concerned, my parents are virgins. My parents are virgins. Okay, they have never had sex. Okay, I was an immaculate conception, bitch. So I could not imagine going to the trial to hear about my parents. Oh, here you go. I know I saw something. And hearing about my parent, what they like. I don't, child. My parents are virgins. Mama is weird, child. Mama, again, Diddy mama's like 84, 85. Okay. Child hidden somewhere hiding. Because I said, ain't no way on God's green earth that all this went down. And Farnsworth Benny wasn't right there seeing. He was holding the umbrellas all the time. But I just can't imagine, being around here and someone saying, child, my mama is a virgin. She didn't do nothing. What do you mean? No, she didn't. Not ever. Hell no. So I'm like, I could not see myself going to court and just sitting and listening to what my parent likes. Like, not today, not ever. Okay. Anyway, y'all. That's all. That's it. That's all. Dun, 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 dun. Again, I posted about Halle Bailey on TikTok. I want to reshare that to my YouTube. But when I looked at it, it was flagged. So I'm going to try to figure out why I got flagged because I don't want, I don't want the flagation. Okay. So the Halle Bailey DDG stuff will probably be up tomorrow morning. So, you know what I'm saying? Under it. Misa was there because Misa is Christian's mama. Or no, Misa is Justin's mama. Okay. Misa is Justin's mama. She was there. Kim is dead. Okay. Um, but the I don't think I think Shan's mama maybe came yesterday. I know Love's mama came, but I don't know. I can't. I don't think. Maybe Shan's mama wasn't there. But we saw Misa and we saw the youngest daughter's mama, but I can't remember if we saw Shan's mama around there. I don't know. We shall see. Anyway, y'all, I hope y'all enjoy it again. Because Cassie will have stuff and I'm off work tomorrow. So tomorrow's live will probably be earlier in the day, will not be at 9 p.m. Depending on it depends on what time court is over. So tomorrow's live may be like 6 p.m. because I'm off work, so I have to be live that late at night. So yeah, so just know to come back. It'll be already set up. We shall see. Okay. But look, I love how this. I hated my live yesterday because I was not prepared. I did not read the tweets beforehand, and it was just too much going on. Okay. So tomorrow, because it will probably be just Cassie stuff, we'll have another Cassie because we want to know what else happened. So yeah. Okay, but only because I'm off work tomorrow will the live be earlier. Thursday and Friday live will be at 9 p.m. But I get off work at 8. So yeah. Anyway, y'all, I hope y'all enjoy. Y'all know what's other content up. Go watch it. Go watch it. Go watch the content. Okay. But yeah, Diddy is, he gets on my nerves. All up and through. Okay. But y'all know to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video as well, and follow me on social media at JayLeesCorner on IG, Twitter, and TikTok. Again, when stuff be breaking news, I always do breaking news content on TikTok. So if you are not following me on TikTok, you are missing something. My comments on Halle Bailey is already on my TikTok account. Anyway, I gotta go. I love y'all. Have a good time for the night. Bye.